So I find everything going on with this Doctor Who stuff really interesting. I'm not really a big fan of the show. I've never really even really watched it. Watched a couple of episodes. It just didn't seem like my cup of tea. But I recognize that a lot of people do love it. It's been around for a long time. It's got a lot of staying power. You know what I'm saying? And there's a huge worldwide following for the show. It's originally from, Britain, and it's everywhere. Everyone loves it, and it's got a lot of cultural significance. And I think that's the thing, isn't it? Cultural significance. And it seems like when they announced the change in the Doctor, which made, of course, all the big sites that beg for money, like The Guardian up here, look at the top, support The Guardian. All right, these guys are all dying. But, YouTube bends the knee to them, a dying media. They're competitors, really. But whatever, that's a topic for another video, I suppose. But Doctor Who, they made that announcement, and it seems like the trash fire has gained new highs for the old Doctor Who franchise. And it's not looking very good for it either. I wanted to talk about this King James episode that popped up, but I thought I would pull a little couple of things together to talk about before we get into that. So, here's what's going on with it. Is Doctor Who finally getting it right on race? After 55 years, it was about time the series faced up to its fairly un-PC record. Well, that's not what Jodie Whittaker was saying. She said it's always been that way. The Doctor Who has always had social commentary. The new Doctor. So, this, I wanted to point out for a reason that it seems like when they made this swap for the Doctor's gender, the show has really just kind of taken a huge left turn, if you know what I'm saying. And fans are not digging it. The show's had a massive ratings drop. And we come over here, and I wonder why. Doctor Who's timely challenge to racism, hatred, and Donald Rump. I'm purposely mispronouncing some words here for, algorithm reasons. But this has kind of been the theme for this series from what I've been reading, and it's not really doing the show very well. When you look over here, now Doctor Who viewers threaten to switch off as they brand the show to PC. So this shouldn't be a surprise. The ratings have dipped significantly on this show. I guess ever since the original season opener for the show, it's kind of started to have a complete dip in the ratings, and it kind of just goes with the the trend for doing this, doesn't it? No one wants to watch it. The only people that want to see stuff like this are the people that control websites like The Guardian and these big Twitter warriors and stuff. They want to see it. And it's crazy because it's actually a very small minority of people that want to see all of these politics in their shows and, capturing comics, video games, loved franchises like Doctor Who. They want to see all that happen because they want you to have their same way of thinking, right? And that's kind of the crux of what's going on here. But they really don't have very much power. But they have all of the power of the dead media where they can just make you watch what they want, listen to what they want, read what they want. And if you don't like it, well, they just take your PayPal away. And they'll make you irrelevant and deplatform you. And in some ways, unperson you. As we've seen with a few people. We saw it recently with Ralph from The Retort when he got his Streamlabs taken away and a few other things. So, it's just some crazy stuff going on. And it kind of culminates to this. Jodie Whittaker and the new Doctor Who showrunner leaving already. This has been covered by a bunch of people, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. But if you look here, it sounds like the showrunner and Jodie Whittaker are having kind of some disagreements with BBC. Now, if I had to speculate on this, it wouldn't be that, these are disagreements in how PC the show should be. It's disagreements in that probably the showrunner and Whittaker want to take it completely to the left turn. And I think that they've been going probably a little too fast with it, which is what's causing a lot of the ratings decrease. You can't just, run the show like you have been so quickly. Because I've never really followed the news before, but with this show, but I've never seen so many people complaining about something. And it kind of shows a little bit what's going on here when you consider that, no one was saying anything about the show being taking too much of a left turn last year. It's this year. And probably the upper-ups at BBC are saying, like, what are you doing? But, they took a blue hair, made her the head of the show, and then you have something like you've seen in Star Wars, right? Where they take that huge left turn, just boom, right away, and it's moving. And that's when we come over to here. Doctor Who perfectly calls out the silencing of women. Also, maybe it was Alan Cumming, but we're all obsessed with King James now. So in this episode, they have King James, and that's right, it's King James from the King James Bible. Interesting that they would choose him for smearing, don't you think? I wonder why they would want to take a figure like that and cast him in a demonic light. That's kind of something to think about, isn't it? A lot of really good channels can fill you in on something like that. But I find it interesting that King James was made the villain of the show. Pretty much they go into the Salem witch trials with this, and you see it here. The man who believed himself to be Satan's biggest foe, King James, leads the charge against the witches of his domain. Or rather, he just nixes lots of unsuspecting women who he thinks are witches, when in fact, they are not. In a little town in the northern part of England, the doctor and her best friend gang find themselves pretending to be witch finders while looking for the situation. And then here's the big quote that I found that was really interesting. I guess this was a part of the episode. The problem is there's evil mud that's reanimating the fallen witches. And every time the doctor tries to point out what's going on, she is called a witch. That leads to the greatest line in the entire episode when the doctor points out that she misses being a bloke because she never had to justify her actions. That's right, because, guys never have to justify their actions. They can just go around doing whatever they want in a society that gives them harsh, strict punishments much more than women. Okay. So, this is interesting stuff. And they kind of sum it up here really good. All the prejudices and wrongdoings of our ancestors are still just as prevalent today. Women are still treated as less than, and racism is still thriving in America and all over the world. Doctor Who is pointing out that nothing has changed, and the doctor giving us a way to start to change how we view these situations is truly wonderful to see. Apparently, your fans don't see it as wonderful to see as they are abandoning your show in droves. So, I found this pretty funny. So, it seems like every episode of this season is touching on some kind of PC moment. That's kind of been the theme from what I've kind of picked up over my little time period of covering this show. If the ratings continue to dip like they are, I'd say it'd be an inevitability. And then they'll have to tone back the left turn they've been going with the show. Because I don't think I've ever seen something move quite so fast. Usually it's a gradual change. Like with Star Wars, you had Force Awakens, right? Didn't really do too many left turn things. But the Last Jedi did a complete left turn. But you had years to get ready for that. And they introduced a few elements in the Force Awakens, and then boom, they turned it. It seems like this show is a little different. They just completely moved the goalpost left and said, take it or leave it. And as always, people are leaving it. So anyway, that's pretty much all I've got. Let me know what you think about this video. Let me know what you think about these revelations. You gotta like and subscribe, hit that notification bell. Also, check out my Patreon. Follow me over on Stream Me. We're doing like live comic roasts. It's been a lot of fun doing those like Mystery Science Theater style. Also going to start doing some commentary over movies and stuff over there because they'll let you do whatever you want, basically. It's free speech land over there. And that's pretty much it. Give me your thoughts, guys. Peace.